What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it is time for my Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice movie review. Now, I'm going to warn you now, probably going to be a long video. Hopefully I'm entertaining throughout. I'm going to try to put as much investment as I can into it, because it will be a long one. I'm going to break it up into a main review and a spoiler review in one video. Not why it's going to be long, it's just going to be long because, well, let's get into it. Let's start off with the positives. Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman, is a badass. He's a savage, he kicks ass, he's really, really fucking cool. Ben Affleck plays a great Bruce Wayne, he plays a great Batman. I got used to the weird robotic voice changey thing that he has, so yeah, he was really, really cool. His choreography, like all his fight scenes are pretty much some of the best in the movie, his Batmobile chases and everything. There is one big problem with his character, and I'll get into that in the negative section, not the spoiler section, because I feel that it's not quite a spoiler, so I'll get into that in the negative section, but Ben Affleck as Batman, good. And I said he would be. I said it a long time ago when he was first announced. I was like, I think this could work, and it worked. So then we got Henry Cavill as Superman, same as Man of Steel. He does a really good job. He does fine. What else is there? There's, was it Rachel McAdams? I think that's her name for Lois Lane. She's pretty irrelevant in the movie, but she does a good job. Lawrence Fishburne as like the dude from the newspaper does a good job. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I can't really judge because she only has like 10 fucking lines in the movie, and I don't know. I mean, you see it in the trailer. That lunge jump that she does, and she screams when she does it. That's awful. But other than that, her acting is passable, I suppose, but just not enough to really judge. I mean, why the fuck did you get a fucking supermodel to be Wonder Woman? She's a supermodel first, actress second, for the most iconic female superhero of all time. You got a skinny-ass supermodel. If you weren't gonna hire a fucking actress, you might have well have gotten the chick from fucking Deadpool. The villain from Deadpool. What's her name, Gina Carano or something? I mean, her acting's probably worse than Gal Gadot, but you clearly didn't care if you hired an actress, so you might as well have gotten the physicality down, but whatever, that's a tangent. It's just dumb to me that they didn't hire a trained actress who it's like her actual profession, her main profession, I should say. But still, for what she was in the movie, she was passable at best. And then we got Lex Luthor with Jesse Eisenberg, and I mean, I'm still in the positive section, so obviously I'm going to tell you that he does a good job for what he's given, but that ain't fucking Lex Luthor, not even fucking close. And a lot of people were thinking, like, oh, well, he's probably like Lex Luthor's son, and they play up that angle in the movie, but no, by the end of the movie, this is supposed to be the Lex Luthor, and no, not even close. But for what he has to play, Jesse Eisenberg does a fine job, I suppose. So, with all that being said, that's the acting. The special effects are great. I mean, they look amazing. The cinematography and like how the fight scenes are choreographed and everything, for the most part, is extremely badass, extremely visceral, extremely exciting, visually very pleasing, and visually very awesome. In a popcorn movie kind of way, it does look very fun, and there's explosions and stuff. It doesn't quite go Man of Steel destruction, but, it does get pretty insane. And, yeah, that's pretty much the visual effects. And then, of course, the movie just has cool scenes. There's some cool lines of dialogue, some nice little fan service moments for, comic book fans or whatever. The fight itself between Batman and Superman has its cool moments. And, yeah, it has a lot of cool moments sprinkled throughout. But now we're going to get into the negatives, because this is a bad movie. I'll just come right out and say it. This is a bad movie. And I hate to say it, because I wanted to like this fucking movie. And there's aspects of it I do like. It does have cool moments, but overall, I mean, just to get started from a technical aspect, the movie's a mess editing-wise. It jumps from, like, the lowest subplot, which is irrelevant, it could be cut, by the way, but it jumps from the lowest subplot to what Clark's doing, to what Bruce is doing, to what Lex is doing, all of which tie together, but it's very random, and it's just kind of jumbled together, and just mix-matched, and there's no flow. It's all just a mix-match of scenes. And you'd think that by doing that, well, I mean, it's a mess and kind of hard to follow, but it's okay paced, right? You know, you're jumping from scene to scene. No, this movie is fucking slow. I mean, like, really fucking slow. Like, I like the Hobbit movies. I like the Lord of the Rings movies. I love the One Piece anime. I don't mind slow pacing. This was fucking excruciatingly slow at times. So many scenes that could have been cut. Like, you got a scene where Clark goes up to this mountain and he talks to fucking Kevin Costner's character who's dead, so it's like a flashback slash dream sequence slash hallucination, I don't know. And like, it could have been cut, but not only that, it's just like, as you're watching it, you're just like, are we like, oh my god, like, it's just so slow, like, all the scenes surrounding it, the way the dialogue is delivered, it's just such a slow movie, and it's 2.5 hours long. Easily, I'm gonna go and say it could have easily been a half hour shorter. I don't want to see the fucking rated R cut with 30 extra fucking minutes. Are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck, dude? 30 extra minutes after it's already this slow? No, sorry, no. But, I mean, the build-up to Batman vs. Superman is still good. You know, you see Batman working out, getting ready, and it's fucking badass, but, like, the fight itself, I'm just going to say right now, I was let down by it. I'll get more into it in the spoiler section, but I was very let down by the fight. It has a couple of cool moments, and when I get into the spoiler section, I'll talk about it a little bit more, but yeah, the fight was a letdown for me. This was definitely Dawn of Justice, not Batman versus Superman. I think that's important to know going in if you haven't seen the movie. The Gal Gadot stuff, her subplot, which kind of just set up Justice League stuff. No, like, it just totally fucking tacked onto the movie. Didn't need to be there. Could have been cut, or could have been an after-credit scene. Like, the plot that was happening could have been in the movie, and then when the big thing happens, which I'll talk about in the spoiler section, that should have been the after-credit scene, which, by the way, there's no after-credit scene. Don't bother waiting. And the last thing, I think that, above all the bad editing and slow-ass pacing and scenes that could have been cut, Batman, and it's kind of a spoiler, but I don't think it is, because we saw some of it in the trailer, and people were really questioning it. He kills. He does kill, and there's no explanation given in the movie as to why. He just turns cars into fireballs with his fucking Batwing and his Batmobile unapologetically, and there's no explanation for it at all. And I have no idea why. You know, he's so mad at Superman for killing all these people, yet he kills people. Like, what the fuck? What is that? I mean, I guess you could say that, you know, Superman killed a bunch of, like, innocent people in the beginning, of course, but it's just, why would you take out, like, any versions of Batman that kill, I'm pretty sure, are, like, Elseworld stories. Those are usually non-canon, takes place in a totally different timeline characters. Those are totally different Batmans. Those are not the core Batman. The core of Batman is a moral code to not kill that, you know, he constantly talks about and he constantly, you know, has to fight with, and you just removed it completely. Now, of course, we could get a Batman movie with Ben Affleck that explains this, but I just think that it should have been addressed in this movie, without a doubt. Last thing I'll mention that's kind of a negative, Batman's backstory. I was sitting next to my friend, and I don't mean to be a dick, but I was like, okay, they're doing the backstory. I was looking at it, I was like, okay, pearl necklace, falls into the cave, and I just predicted it. They told Batman's story very quickly, which is good, but it was the most predictable version of his story you could ever have. It was the pearl necklace, shatters everywhere, he's crying, funeral, falls into the Batcave. And then it turns out to be, then it gets kind of weird where he like starts floating with the bats, and it turned out to be a dream sequence. But whatever, it's just not a big negative, kind of a nitpick. It's just you couldn't do anything new to his backstory. Whatever. It's just because I've seen it so many fucking times, especially watching Batman animated movies a few months back when I was watching a lot of Batman animated movies. It was like, oh my god, fucking so many, like just the pearl necklace and falling in the cave, and just it's the overall backstory. But anyways, that's another thing that could have been cut. A lot of his fucking dream sequences could have been fucking cut. But yeah, that's pretty much my review, I suppose. I mean, like I said, great visual effects, great performances for the most part. The action's really, really good. Cinematography looks awesome. There's really cool moments. There's nice moments of dialogue that are fan service for fans. And I am kind of excited. I'll talk about it more in the spoiler section, but I'm kind of excited to see some of the Justice League movies. But with DC's track record, it's kind of hard to be excited. But I'll mention that more in the spoiler section, which I suppose I could just get to now. With all of its positives, I have to say, though, that it's still a mess when it comes to editing. It's extremely slow. Tons of stuff could have been cut out. I personally was very disappointed by the final battle. Like, you know that scene in the trailer, the final trailer, where Batman's just beating down all those dudes in the warehouse, or even if you haven't seen the trailer, that scene, from start to finish, in my opinion, is better than their fight. That's a fucking problem. I just watched John Wick recently with Keanu Reeves. John Wick should not be a better fucking movie than Batman vs. Superman, but it fucking is. So, whatever. I'm gonna give this movie, like, let's see. You factor in an objective view of the movie, I would say, honestly, a solid 4.5 out of 10. If you throw in some of the entertainment value shit... Oh, Doomsday's tacked on, by the way. I'm just, like, throwing in more fucking criticisms. Doomsday is tacked on to the end of the movie. He has, like, no point in being there other than he's just gonna be the fucking big fucking thing they have to take down. And he looks like shit. Like, people say, oh, he's probably gonna evolve and look more badass. That, what we saw in the trailer, is his evolved state. Fuck that. So, he looks terrible. He looks like a cave troll from Lord of the Rings. It's just, no. But, and he was totally tacked on to the end. But, like I said, bad movie. 4.5. You tie in some of the entertainment value, and you get, you know, because there are cool little scenes. It was kind of fun to watch some of it. I would say, you know, maybe raise this to like a 6, because the fights, I mean, it's still a boring movie because of its slow-ass pacing, and just there's not a lot of comedy or, you know, anything to relieve the dark tension of the movie, so it's kind of a drab thing to go through at times, especially since it's so slow and how long it is. I thought Man of Steel was definitely better in that regard in terms of pacing, but yeah, it was, I don't know. I guess I'd say like a 6 out of 10, but I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 10. This is a 4.5 out of 10 movie. Very disappointed. I even went in with lowered expectations because I've been kind of thinking this movie's probably not going to be good. And, yeah, it turned out to not be good. So, I'll give it a 4.5 out of 10. That is my final rating for Batman vs. Superman. Of course, if you liked the movie, that's totally cool. This is just my objective view on it. And, yeah, so with all that being said, you know, thanks for watching the video. You know, tell me what you guys thought of the movie in the comment section below if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, are you still excited to see it after watching this video? You can subscribe if you haven't already. If you like what you've seen here, I have an Instagram. You can add me on PSN. Share it on social media. You know, give me a thumbs up. Those would help me out a lot. But now I'll get into the spoilers. So if you have seen the movie or if you just don't care, spoiler time. I guess I'll just start off with the Justice League stuff. It's basically a file that LexCorp has, and it's like a metahuman file, and you see Cyborg, you see Aquaman, you see the Flash, and you see Wonder Woman, but from like 1891 or some shit like that, because she's really, really fucking old. Probably immortal. Excuse me. And it's cool. The surveillance footage of the Flash is pretty badass. I liked the Cyborg scene probably the most. I thought that was really, really cool. It looked creepy, but interesting at the same time. The Aquaman scene was kind of awkward. I mean, Jason Momoa was born to look like a fucking badass savage, so he looks awesome as Aquaman, but he's just kind of standing there with his trident, and then he, like, attacks the camera, so it's like, how'd you get the footage if he attacked the camera? But whatever. It's just the way he stood there idle for a second was kind of weird. It was just kind of like, yeah, I'll just let you soak in that this is what Aquaman looks like real quick, then I'll attack. It's just kind of weird, but it was still cool to see him there. But this whole subplot had nothing to do with the movie at all. Like, this should have been the after credit scene. Like, you could have the Gal Gadot stuff, you know, kind of like Agent Coulson in the first Iron Man movie. He's kind of like, I'm from Strategic Homeland Intervention, blah, blah, blah. And he's just kind of there talking, and he calls himself S.H.I.E.L.D. at the end. You could have had a thing where it's like, yeah, I'm looking for this little, this little drive with all this stuff on it, and by the end of the movie, she sits down, or not even like just a mid-credit scene where she sits down, actually looks at it, and you see all this stuff. That would have been really cool. I think actually putting it into the movie feels very Iron Man 2-ish. It feels very like we're just gonna set up Avengers shit, we're gonna set up Justice League shit, with no real tie to the overall story. So, yeah. But I hope all those scenes are in those characters' movies, because that would be really cool. Also, the not Gal Gadot, the Wonder Woman part, the dude standing next to her looks like fucking Chris Pine. Like, the dude from the Star Trek movies, it looks just like him. It'd be really fucking weird if he just happened to be the guy standing next to her. I think that scene is from her movie. I think that picture will be from her movie. I think her movie's going to take place back in the day, be like a period piece thing, because that just seemed really fucking weird. Like, it just seemed really fucking weird that dude looks so much like Chris Pine. I really think that's probably, like, he's a major actor, so I'm thinking that's going to be her movie. Could be wrong. Don't know. The Batman dream sequences, like the one you see where he's in the desert and everything, easily could have been cut. It just shows, like, a world where Superman took over, and there's, like, these weird, like, I don't know why there are these weird alien fucking bug things. I guess just part of the dream, I don't know. But, like, I don't know, the dream could have been cut. Another dream sequence he has, was he talking to the Flash? Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on there. It was just like, you were right about him, and, he's basically saying you were right about him over and over, and it looked like the Flash. I mean, it did. But he doesn't know the Flash yet, so is there some kind of weird time paradox going on there? That's possible, but how, like, where are your chips at, DC? You put a lot into this fucking movie for it to get this kind of critical reception, but I don't know what's going on there. They'll probably explain it later. That one's okay. But the Lois Lane subplot with the bullet easily could have been cut. I mean, every time it cut to her, I was like, what are we, this is so inconsequential. He just blows up the fucking court thing anyway, and then, so, Lex Luthor's trying to frame Superman and shit, and, I mean, he pulls it off in other ways, so the bullet subplot was irrelevant as fuck. And then, Superman at the end, he takes the, they tried to tie in the death of fucking Superman with fucking, the Doomsday shit, and it's just like, why? You're cramming so fucking much in, and you just didn't need to. And it's a total fake out. I mean, for like the last 12 minutes of slow-paced funeral, you're just like, the casket's gonna move. Something's gonna fucking happen. And it fucking does. And it's just like, why did you just waste the last 12 minutes of this movie on a fucking fake-out ending? Like, I don't understand that at all. That was stupid. Batman and Superman's fight, the conclusion was the worst part, but it's basically, okay, Superman's going to win for a while, and then he's going to pop a fucking, kryptonite canister, and then once he does that, he's beating the shit out of Superman. Then Superman recovers, and he beats the shit out of Batman, then he pops another canister, and then he beats the shit out of Superman. It's just a back and forth, like, no real struggle, no, like, Dark Knight Returns animated movie, just badass. Like, that's a way better fight, flat out. No, but that's literally the fight. Just, they talk. He's beating Batman, then Batman pops the canister, he beats up Superman. It's really, really short. I'd say it's probably 10 minutes at max of the entire fucking movie is them talking and fighting. They hardly interact with each other. You're not invested in what's happening because it's just, they have no history. It's not Iron Man versus Captain America. This is fucking two characters we barely know, who we barely have an understanding of their ideology, just clashing. And it's not even, Lex Luthor's just manipulating Superman into doing it anyway with his mother at stake. So it's not even like they really want to fight. Well, Batman does, but it's just, and then the end of it, the fucking ending was on some straight up fairy tale bullshit. I review anime and manga if you guys don't know, if you're watching this video. But there's an anime and manga series, very heavy on friendship speeches and like stupid character turnarounds. And that's pretty much what happened in this fucking movie. It's, why are you saying Martha? Oh, by the way, Henry Cavill's acting when he had his boot to the throat and he was saying, Martha, gotta save her. That was terrible acting. I know he had a boot to his neck, so it was going to be kind of awkward, but that was terrible. The whole scene was terrible. People in my audience were laughing. he's like, why are you saying Martha? And he's like, that's his mom's name. And Batman's like, well, that was my mom's name. You're trying to save your mom? We're fucking friends now. Like, that quick. That fucking quick. We're friends now. Like, instantly. I'm just sitting here like, are you fucking serious right now? After everything this fucker went through to get the kryptonite ready and build the spear and get ready to kill Superman, and thinking he killed thousands of people and he deserves to die for it and he's a huge threat. Oh, you're trying to save your mom. Okay. Oh, we're friends now. That's cool. Like, the fuck? That was stupid. That was terrible. Oh my god, that was terrible. But, yeah, not much else to say. Yeah, the little Justice League cameos were cool. I definitely think that, the movies could have the potential to be good, but with this track record DC has, I want to be excited for those movies, but it's hard to be, man. It's really hard to be. They threw in a nuke blowing up Superman and fucking him, like, recovering with sunlight. That was okay. The Doomsday fight at the end, it was okay. There was a lot of destruction. I'm glad they mentioned that they were in a pretty abandoned area, because it's kind of like, okay, well, all that destruction in Man of Steel was for a reason. And then in this movie, there's a shit ton of destruction again, and it's like, okay, well, now you're just blowing shit up to blow shit up. But, yeah, I don't know. And then Lex Luthor, like I said earlier in the review, or maybe I didn't, I'm not sure, I've done multiple takes to get this done. Lex Luthor, he goes bald. They shave him in prison, and it's like, okay, he is Lex Luthor. It's not like he has a father who's the real Lex Luthor. No, they shaved him bald. This is supposed to be our Lex Luthor. And, not a fan of how they're depicting Lex Luthor. I hope they change his personality. He's supposed to be a smart, intelligent businessman. Smart and intelligent, that was kind of a dumb, whatever, kind of redundant, but you know what I mean. He's arrogant, but he's smooth, he's political. He's Lex Luthor. This was some aspects of that, but like he was trying to be like the Joker. He was like a crackhead. It was like, no guy like this, like this guy would be severely under questioning at all times by people, because he is just unstable as fuck, but whatever. That's the movie, though. Yeah, I don't know. People in the theater were fucking clapping when Wonder Woman showed up and when the Justice League stuff happened, and it's just, why? Like, okay, like Wonder Woman, I mean, the Justice League stuff maybe, but Wonder Woman was in the trailer, and she's so tacked onto the movie. I don't know how anybody could be clapping and be invested by the end of this movie. It's just, I don't know, but the critic score shows that the movie's not good. I agree. Sometimes I disagree with critic scores, but this time I'm right on board, man. This was a mess of a movie. Maybe after seeing it again, I'll notice some stuff I didn't before. I don't know when I'll see it again, but you know, this is a first impressions of the movie, so it's hard to say. But I mean, yeah, 4.5 out of 10. First disappointment of the year. And I did go in with lowered expectations, so it really went below expectations for me. And it's really those standout stupid moments. It's that fucking, oh, our moms have the same name, you're trying to save your mom, let's be friends. Fucking, you know, wasting the last 10 to 12 minutes on fucking a fake out death for Superman. Fucking all the scenes you could have easily cut, like the dream sequences and shit. It's just a mess of a fucking movie, and it's Batman versus Superman. The fight itself is not even the finale, which that's kind of obvious. Doomsday was going to be the finale, but the fight's not the finale. The way they wrap up the fight is terrible. The fight itself is just Superman lands some hits, Batman lands some hits, Superman lands some hits, Batman lands some hits. That's the whole fight. What I just told you. Not continuing, just those 4 beatdowns. Superman, Batman, Superman, Batman. Fight over. There you go. It's cool to a certain extent, but that's the big fight. Bullshit. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. But I said everything I need to say, so thanks for watching this video. If you stuck this far, I'm assuming you saw the movie because this is the spoiler section, so tell me what you thought of Batman vs. Superman in the comment section below. You can follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. You can give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both of those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you like what you've seen here. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. And Civil War, please don't be a repeat of this.